Howdy guys, Bookie Laura here. Firstly, I want to get this out of the way. I pretty much lost my voice over the last few days. I think it's back well enough to do a video, so I hope it lasts and I hope it's not too annoying. Apologies. Now if you've watched my recent Goodreads tag video, then you will know that I'm an absolute Goodreads addict. I hold my hands up, I admit it, I'm addicted and I've got a problem. For this reason, I was delighted when earlier in the week I received an email from Goodreads summarising my reading this year. This is very exciting for me. I remember doing this video last year, my year in books, 2016. Now Goodreads collects all this information for you. It tells you all these stats, and I think it's just a really nice way to look at the books that you've read this year and really reflect on your reading and see how good a year you've had, really. I'm really looking forward to watching this video and then comparing it to last year, so I will leave a link below if you want to watch my year in books for 2015. I know I will be, because I'm intrigued to know how it's similar and how it's different. So the first stat that it gives you is the total number of books you've read this year, and this year I have read 48 books. I can literally barely believe that. At the start of the year I set myself the goal of 24 books, so I have managed to read double that, and I've still got a couple of weeks to go, so I'm hopeful that I will build it up, maybe even hit 50, which would blow my mind. What I'm more interested in than the number of books that I've read is the number of pages that I've read. Now the total number of pages that I've read is 14,734. Now the reason I'm more interested in this is because earlier in the year I got in a stress about the number of books I was reading, and actually if you read a longer book you're going to read less books. So I'm really interested to compare my number of pages rather than number of books. The shortest book that I read was only 96 pages, and it was a graphic novel. It's a Neil Gaiman book, The Tragical Comedy of Mr. Punch or something like that. The longest book that I read was The Bone Clocks by David Mitchell, which I read in the summer and actually instigated my reading slump. Maybe I just can't do long books. And that was 624 pages. Overall, the average length of the books I read was 320 pages, which I think is probably what I would expect. So they also tell you the most popular book. Now this is based on how many other people have read it, so I don't know. The most popular book that I read this year was To Kill a Mockingbird, which wasn't a massive surprise. I knew it was popular, that's why I read it. The least popular is a book called Kill Someone by Luke Smitherd, which actually was only released a couple of weeks ago, and he's a relatively unknown author, so apparently only 21 other people have read it, which is a bit sad really, but yeah, as I say, it's only just been released. My average rating of a book this year was 3.4 stars. Now I find this quite sad actually. I'll be really interested to compare it to last year, because 3.4 says I'm barely, out of all the books that I'm reading, I'm barely getting better than average overall. So I think next year I need to aim to read more books that I think I'm going to love and actually read for my enjoyment rather than ticking boxes or feeling like I should. Last but not least, the highest rated book that I have read this year is surprising actually. It was Nowhere to Run by Casey Watson, which I think has an average of 4.43. After that it just lists with the covers all the books that you've read this year, and that was really interesting for me to just briefly reflect on, because it was quite clear when I scrolled through there were a number of books that I'd read for no reason other than I felt I should, and next year I want to rectify that. So let me know what your stats are for Goodreads. I'm really interested to know how other people compare and whether they surprised you, whether any of the results surprised you. I will continue to do this every year that Goodreads does it, because I think it's really interesting and a good opportunity to reflect on the reading that you do and set targets for next year. I will be doing a video in January where I think about the reading that I want to do in 2017 and some changes that I'd like to introduce. But as ever, I love tracking stuff, and I think Goodreads is fab for that. So thank you, Goodreads. I really appreciate it. I'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.